Welcome or welcome back. Thanks so much for being here. We have a very exciting video in store today. Let's get into it. We have some very special guests on the YouTube channel today. We're doing a video where my favorite book creators are picking my next reads. And we have the trusty TBR jar unlocked for this video. They already have picked my reads for me. Let's see what they picked. Sera's pick. We have
Kenzi, girl, I have a book for you to read. I am so honored that you consider me one of your besties to get a book rec from. Seriously, my heart is so full. I want to do you good, so I want to have you read A Love Song for Ricki Wilde by Tia Williams. This is one of my most favorite books of all time. It is so romantic. It's about this guy who was a jazz musician in like Harlem Renaissance era, and then he's like low-key immortal. So fast forward to like 2020-ish times, modern New York City, and he meets this girl named Ricki. He just moved to the city to open her own plant like flower shop because her family owned a funeral home conglomerate kind of deal in Georgia, and she never really liked the industry. She only liked the flowers from them. So she's following her dreams in the big city, and they meet and they fall in love, and it's literally so cute. It's got magical realism. It talks about traumas and sacrifice and friendships and family and love, and it's just chef's kiss, everything. I want you to read it. I want you to, you know, give me your real thoughts. I want you to love it. But if you don't, that's okay. In order to make sure that you read it, I'm going to put it in your little TBR jar. I love you.
A Love Song for Ricki Wilde. And for Khalilah's pick, we have
Kenzi, girl! First of all, can I just say I am so honored to be able to recommend one of my favorite books to you. I'm obsessed with you. I absolutely love your content. I love you. Sorry, McCoy. I love you. What can I say? This is so cool that you're going to be reading one of my favorite books, just because for me, it is a book that I relate to on a cellular level. I've never felt so seen in a book, and that book is Eleanor Oliphant Is Completely Fine. Now, this is a literary fiction. It is a very quirky read, a very heartfelt read, but it's also very humorous. So I feel like even though there are some darker themes in this book, it's going to be something that is palatable because she balances it with humor. Eleanor is a young woman in her 20s, and she is someone who says what's on her mind at all times. It doesn't matter if it's an awkward situation, if she's going to make it awkward. She just has no social filter. She has no social skills. At first, it's very jarring because she'll say things and you're like, girl, what is wrong with you? But as you continue to read through the story, you realize why she is the way that she is. I do think that this book will bring some emotion in a way that it's not too heavy, and I feel like that's the best way to balance really heavy topics, at least in literature for me. I feel like I would love to grow in books and evolve in books and reach these characters emotionally, but sometimes it's too heavy, and I feel like this is just the perfect balance of humor as well as some very heavy themes, and I think that you're going to fall in love with her the way that I fell in love with her. Again, I've never felt so seen in a book the way that I felt seen in Eleanor Oliphant Is Completely Fine. I read this book like 4 years ago, and I literally still think about it every single week, so I hope that you love it as much as I do. Now I'm going to write it down and put it in your TBR jar, and I can't wait to hear your thoughts. Mwah!
Eleanor Oliphant Is Completely Fine by Gail, Honeyman. I could not be more excited to film this video. Not only are these two amazing book creators, please go follow them if you haven't already. They're some of my really good friends. I was lucky enough to meet them at the Shelves in the City event, and we have been texting almost daily ever since. So I'm so grateful I found them, and let's be honest, I really trust their book recommendations with my entire heart and soul. So I highly anticipate these being very highly rated books for me. I actually already went to the bookstore. I already got these books. I know. It's a little bit of a time warp, but stick with me. I went to some of my favorite indie bookstores. I really wanted to try to get these from indie bookstores if possible. Sending it over to past Kenzi, who's book shopping this weekend and had a little girls' day. I went with one of my friends, so talk soon. Alright, I'm all ready to go book shopping. My friend is on her way to pick me up. Here's the fit. I'm gonna try and go to some of my favorite indie bookstores. I called them last night to see if they had the books that I need, and they did not. So there is a Barnes & Noble as like a worst case scenario. I just need them like now, because this video is starting. But this Barnes & Noble is really big and really cute and really fun in a fun little area. After book shopping, me and a bunch of my friends are gonna go to brunch at a place I've never been before. So let's go. No way you found it. Not in the fiction. The only one. Again, we're back with a little book haul. Let me show you what I got in that book shopping trip with my friends. Of course, we got A Love Song for Ricki Wilde by Tia Williams at Barnes & Noble. I've read 7 Days in June by Tia Williams, and I did like that one, but I hear this one has a little bit of a magical realism going on. One florist, one pianist, one love story, 100 years in the making, so that's where the magical realism comes in. Ricki Wilde has many talents, but being a Wilde isn't one of them. As the impulsive, artistic daughter of a powerful Atlanta dynasty, she's the opposite of her socialite sisters. When they're long-stemmed roses, she's a dandelion, an adorable bloom that's actually a weed, born to float wherever the wind blows. When a regal nonagenarian, Miss Della, invites her to rent a flora of her Harlem brownstone, Ricki jumps at the chance for a new beginning. She leaves behind her family, wealth, and chaotic romantic decisions to realize her dream of opening a flower shop in New York City. The dream turns into a modern fairy tale when she encounters a handsome, mysterious stranger who knocks her world off balance in the most magical ways. I think I'm gonna read this first because it's available on audio on Libby, like, now. So we're probably gonna hop right into this. And of course we have Eleanor, Oliphant is Completely Fine by Gail Honeyman. This is the one I found at the secondhand bookstore. And this one's about Eleanor. No one's ever told Eleanor that life should be better than fine. Meet Eleanor Oliphant. She struggles with appropriate social skills and tends to say exactly what she's thinking. Nothing is missing in our carefully timetabled life where weekends mostly consist of frozen pizza, vodka, and phone chats with Moni. But everything changes when Eleanor meets Raymond, the bumbling IT guy from her office whose big heart will ultimately help Eleanor find the way to repair her own profoundly damaged one. Smart, warm, and uplifting, Eleanor Oliphant is completely fine as the story of an out-of-the-ordinary heroine whose deadpan weirdness and wit make for an irresistible journey as she realizes the only way to survive is to open your heart. Cute! These are the 2 books that I got for this video. I'm very excited to dive into both of them. They both sound really amazing, really fun. Very excited. And I got 2 more books. Razorblade Tears by S.A. Cosby. I saw one of my mutuals on TikTok raving about this book. He made a video about the books that he would have on display at a bookstore as his, like, recommendations, and this was up there. And I really trust his book taste. He has some really phenomenal picks, a lot of fantasies. This is a bit of a thriller mystery. As far as I know, this book follows 2 ex-cons who go on, like, a hunt when their 2 sons, who are married to each other, are unalived. It sounds very interesting because they want to, like, have vengeance and revenge. This sounds especially good and very unique. Frederick Bachman's My Friends. Ended up buying this because I'm currently reading Beartown by Frederick Bachman, and it is so page-turny. I am so glued and sucked into it, and I'm listening to it with my husband, so I just had to get Frederick Bachman's newest book because I've loved the one I'm currently reading so much. I'm not sure what this is about, and I don't really need to. I read A Man Called Ove, loved it, and obviously I'm reading Beartown, loving it. I'm gonna need another one. It's heartbreaking. Everything I've read by Frederick Bachman has been very heavy. Obviously, I wanted more of it. That's the book haul. I'm so excited for all of these books, but especially what I'm going to be reading in today's video. I think now I just want to get comfy, I want to cuddle up on the couch, I want to get reading, and so that's exactly what we're gonna do. Just started a love song for Ricki Wilde, so this is Sera's pick for me to read. I just started it tonight. It's 8:30 p.m. on Monday evening. I'm only 6% into it and I'm already loving it. I don't want to speak too soon. No, I do not. But it's just that writing style that has you flipping through the pages so quickly. I already have that like impulsive need to keep turning the page, which I love that for me. We actually made some brownies tonight. We have the lo-fi going in the background. Sounds like my dream night, my dream date. Cute. I'm gonna get back to my book, but just had to let you know that so far, so good. I love it. Hello again, it's time for a little bit of a reading update. It's currently Thursday and it's lunchtime. I'm working from home today because I have to take my little baby Lola girl to the groomer. So I'm currently on chapter 3 of A Love Song for Ricki Wilde. Our main character, our girly, Ricki. She is kind of the odd one out in her family, and all of her sisters are very successful, and she feels like she is not. I think we are going to jump into the Harlem Renaissance. I'm like 10% done with the book is all. Where I left off, I was reading and I just couldn't keep my eyes open any longer and fell asleep. But we left off with this shadowy figure in the cemetery. Sounds spooky, but I think it's more of like romance. Time will tell. I don't know how I closed the book on that, but I did read like the first couple lines of the next chapter, and I think it did jump back in time a little bit, so that's fun. We have this like mysterious older woman that like kind of had this opportunity and gave it to Ricki to like open her plant shop and help her with that journey. She is definitely, we have not seen the last of her. We definitely haven't. So Thursdays are actually basically my Fridays in the summer, which is amazing because my company gives Fridays off. I definitely want to get some reading done this weekend. I haven't gotten a ton done because what I'm listening to is Beartown by Frederick Bachman, and I'm listening to that with my husband, and we are so into it. Like, so into it, obsessed with it, listening to it any chance we get. So once I finish that, I think I'm going to start listening to A Love Song for Ricki Wilde as well, but for now I'm just physically reading it. I know I'm like very backlit right now, but I have all my plants ready to be organized. We got grow lights for this shelf. I want to reorganize this while I listen to the audiobook of A Love Song for Ricki Wilde. McCoy is working late tonight till about 9 p.m. And so I kind of am just gonna like use this time to like reset a little bit. Here's a look at what the shelf is looking like beforehand. We have the grow lights installed, humidifiers going on the bottom. There's Baby Scout. And I'm so obsessed with how it turned out. Let me give you a little tour. On the top shelf, we basically just have plants that are too tall to go on any other shelf. It doesn't have a grow light, but they've been doing okay here for the last little bit. And then on the next shelf, we have my two philodendrons, the white princess and the pink princess, and this is a alocasia type. And then down here on this row are all our like more rare, needy alocasias. This is an alocasia variegated fried egg. And then on these we have like some similar philodendron types. This is the Billetier, I think is how you say it. This we just got today. It starts with an A. I can't remember what it's called. Kind of had to frame this of what needs a lot of humidity. These need a ton of humidity, but these pots only fit on this shelf, so that's how they ended up here. The night's off to a great start. Say hi to the vlog. Recording right now. Sera said she made a song for the vlog. This is a live reaction. I have not listened to it, okay?
Hi vlog, I've made a song for you. Hold on, let me pause my Chinese drama, hold on. Kenzi, I've missed you all day. Okay, explain the song first. The song is because Kenzi has a corporate job, so she doesn't talk to me and Khalilah all day who don't have corporate jobs, and so we don't get to hear from her until when the sun rises or the sun is about to set. Okay. Kenzi, I missed you so much. I missed you so much, it literally hurt my heart. I'm so happy that you're back. I really missed you.
Sing it, girl.
Thank you. Think your vlog will like my song?
Comment below. So. Okay, wait, let me hurry and sing this. I'm gonna tell her I'm obsessed. I hope you know that's actually going into the video. I'm gonna go eat a grapefruit. I'm like really in a flow state. I can't lie, I'm in a flow state, so I'm really loving the deep, clean organizing vibe I have going on. We're gonna just keep doing that because I'm having a blast. significantly darker. That's because it is later. It is 9:20 p.m. Made some progress in this book. I'm loving it, by the way. I'm absolutely eating it up. There's like a mystery element at the start that just has me hooked, and I need to like figure out what is happening. I just ate dinner, just cleaned up dinner. Productive. I cleaned out some of my closet. I have it in a bin downstairs to take and donate tomorrow. Not bad for a random Thursday night, you know what I'm saying? Let's see where I got to. I'm on chapter 11 on page 140. I slept in. I did sleep in. I'm gonna make my coffee. I'm probably gonna just listen. A love song for Ricki Wilde. To my brother's golf tournament. We're gonna watch the last 9 holes of it. We're gonna walk it, so I'm just gonna listen to the audiobook. I think I'm on chapter 12. Happy Sunday, everyone. We are just driving to a golf tee time. We're playing 18 holes today. I just got to chapter 16. We'll see how much I can read. First stop is 7 Brew, and we got these little discount things. It's BOGO, free any drink. Ah! Someone's seeing me film. My in-laws. I'm so embarrassed. Anyways, I'm on chapter 16, which is 61% done with the book, and I have 4 hours and 34 minutes left in the audiobook. So depending on how quick I can read, it's a possibility I could get this finished today. We'll see. It might be a long shot, but I feel like it's setting up to be a bit heartbreaking though, because from Tia Williams' last book, I was heartbroken. And we just learned a little bit how the magical realism works. So that's where we're at. Hole 6 now, and it's 5:30 p.m. and I have less than 2 hours left in the book. I have 1 hour and 48 minutes left. I'm currently on page 18. I mean chapter 18, and there's only 23 chapters, so the end's sneaking up on us. We have plenty of time to finish it. I'm having a blast. It's starting to warm up and get sunnier. I had to put my hair up. The vibes are high, and this man is making me blush. I can't lie. He has very old-timey manners. If you've read the book, you know and understand why, but he has very, like, traditional manners in, like, a sexy way, not, like, a misogynistic way. Do you know what I mean? Like, respect, but not condescension. You know what I mean. 70%. Chapter 18. It's 5:45. I think our next tea time's at 6:30 for the back nine. 1 hour and 38 minutes left in the book. We're just finishing up whole 9 before we head to the back 9, and I did not know Eva and Shane were gonna make an appearance in this book. I did not know this was the same universe as 7 Days of June. Very happy surprise. Very happy surprise on my part. Than an hour left in the book, and I have a guess of how this is gonna end. I have a guess. I would hate if I'm right. I really would. But also kind of like it. So it's whole 13. I can barely see. I hope you can see me. We're just about to go into whole 14. I'm really loving this book. It's like 7:30 p.m. I'm reading it a bit slower. I always read slower on the golf course because I'm like in and out, stop, go. I think I have like 30 pages left in the book. We have like 35 minutes and we're 90%. Done. Just like a chapter left. I'm spooked. Something's gonna happen. I'm scared. I think I have an idea too. I'll keep you posted.
Scramble, guys. It's not my own. It's a scramble.
We just finished 18 holes. It's 8:45 p.m. on a Sunday night. I finished, like you saw, Love Song for Ricki Wilde. I need to process. I need to marinate. It was phenomenal. It was actually genuinely so very, very good, as to be expected, because we know Sera has phenomenal, immaculate taste. And I just started Eleanor Oliphant is completely fine. I just got 1 chapter in. Being in her head is so bingeable already, I can tell. Cheers. Hello everyone, it is Friday and you know what that means, I have the day off. I spent the morning filming a bunch of my end of month videos. Some plans for today. You may notice behind me, I did reorganize my bookshelf recently, but I did it like right before I had some friends coming over for the night, and so then I panicked and like threw everything on the shelves. I'm filming a separate video going into like reorganizing my bookshelf, so I'll get to that again soon. I am reading Eleanor Oliphant is completely fine. I have started this. I've listened to some of the audiobook. I got this thrifted. Let's actually use this bookmark from the bookstore I got the book from. It's a they're having a 15th annual parking lot sale today. I just realized that. We have to go. I have to text McCoy. That was so crazy. That's literally today. Okay, I am so scattered. Anyways, I've been reading Eleanor Oliphant is completely fine. I think I'm on chapter 8. Let's see. Alright, I'm on page 66, chapter 8. I feel like reading people's favorite books is such an intimate way to get to know a person, because the entire time you're reading it, you're constantly thinking why they like it, what spoke to them about it. And I think when I'm reading this book through the lens of her and like what speaks to her about it, it just makes it so much more fun, because I'm like, it's so page turning, it's so engaging. Right off the bat when I started it, it really read very like quirky narrator, like misunderstood. I don't know if I talked to you about this, but I recommended Blood Over Brighthaven to Sera and Khalilah. And that book really spoke to me and feels very intimate and personal to me, so having them read it, it does feel very vulnerable in some ways. I don't know, just because they're really close friends as well, and so just having them read that book just feels like I'm naked. So far I'm really liking it. Very quirky narrator, very page-turny. It's very much just like day in the life, following this girl, following her life, following her fears and her routine. Tomorrow morning, McCoy has a tea time at 9 a.m. It's at a golf course that's about an hour away, so we'll probably leave here around 7:30 a.m. And so I'll have plenty of time to read. I think that is where I'm going to make a really significant dent in Eleanor Oliphant. So we have some things to look forward to. Today I'm going to try and get my shit together. I'm meeting up with some friends tonight, and then early tomorrow morning we have a little golf course reading vlog vibe. So can't wait, I'm so excited. We're into the weekend. I wasn't reading these books a ton. I'm also reading the Beartown trilogy by Frederick Bachman, so it's Beartown, Us Against You, and then The Winners. And I'm listening to that with McCoy, and Beartown just like was all-consuming and we could not stop listening to it. And now we started Us Against You, so that's what I'm reading alongside these books. Talk soon. Can they see inside my window right now? Yeah, I think they can. Whatever. I'm about to just lock in and reorganize my bookshelves. I am 20% into Eleanor Oliphant. I think I'll get a lot of reading done while I do so. I have like a few hours to do this. Last time I tried to reorganize, I had friends coming over that night, and it made for a very stressful, frantic organization experience, and that's not what we're after today. We're after romantic, chill, cozy experience. I think I have a vision of how I want this to look. We'll just see if I could execute. Good morning. It is Saturday morning and I am hanging on by a thread, but we got the coffee. Let's get me through. We just got to the golf course and we have a tea time in like 15 minutes. I stayed up late last night organizing my bookshelf, but I'm really happy with how it turned out. I just zonked before I could even like give a tour or anything. I'm like 55% done with Eleanor Oliphant, chapter 22, which is page like 180. So we'll have a fun day of reading in the cart. Coming up on hole 6, and I've been editing the past few holes, so I haven't made a ton of progress in Eleanor Oliphant. I'm on page 205, so I only have read like 25 pages so far in the book. But I'm doing some editing, I'm being productive. I think I'm gonna eat some snacks, hydrate, and we're almost done with the front 9. Way too confident on the golf course earlier. To be fair, like if I had stayed the whole time, I would have had a really solid chance of finishing Eleanor. I think I would have, but it's currently almost 11 p.m. We just got back from playing tennis, but earlier on the golf course we got through the front 9. I was so hot. And my sister-in-law decided to leave, go get food, go to my parents' house, and enjoy some AC. We got done at like 3, came home, showered, took a little rest, and then we went and played tennis. Under the lights, it was so nice. I forget how absolutely gorgeous it is at night when you're not suffering in the heat. And I could have played for hours longer because it was just so comfortable not being in the blazing heat. We'll pick back up reading tomorrow. We have some chores and errands, you know the vibe. I'll probably audiobook for a lot of that. Let's give you a final update of where I am. So I probably didn't read any more since I last updated you. Nope. Page 205, which is 63% done with the book. The estimated Kindle time is 2 hours and 30 minutes left, so I'm having a good time though. She's very quirky. There was like one scene specifically that made me giggle. And it was at like the most unfortunate time. Let's go get in the shower and go to bed. Good morning, it's time to Sunday reset. Let's get into it. At approximately 4:45 p.m. Yes, that's exactly right. I grinded so hard today. I'm gonna reward myself. I'm gonna sit on this couch and I'm gonna read my book and I'm gonna drink some water and I'm gonna be on Do Not Disturb. I think I'm gonna put on a comfort movie of some sort to watch in the background while I read. I don't do this often, but maybe it's like a little indulgent treat. I'm gonna soak up my last hours of the weekend. So I listened to a little bit of Eleanor Oliphant. It's completely fine. Most of the time I was cleaning, I was listening to Us Against You. I got to chapter 24. We're gonna start from there. It's 66% done with the book. The Kindle estimation time has me at like 2.5 hours left. So if we're really locking in, I think it might be worth it for me to walk all the way back upstairs to get my pillow. What movie are we feeling? Maybe like The Princess and the Frog. That's one of my favorite movies growing up. Let's lock in. It's so nice to be laying down in my pajamas. It's literally light outside. Well, I finished. Eleanor Oliphant is completely fine, so we've made it to the end of this video, and I'm kind of sad for it to be done. I feel like reading books from people you really respect, admire, get along with, love. I think it's such an intimate way to get to know a person. I feel like that was definitely true with these two books with Sera and Khalilah. I felt like it was just a window into the heart and soul. I feel like I understand them better, their interests, what they enjoy in a book, how they live their life, their perception of reality. I feel like it's so deep. I'm making it that deep because it is that deep. Let me give you a little review of what I thought overall about these two books. You may have been able to tell, but I did really love both of them. First, we have A Love Song for Ricki Wilde by Tia Williams. This book was different than I expected it to be in a lot of ways. I read 7 Days in June by Tia Williams, like I said, and I liked that book. I liked this book better. I was very surprised to see the characters from 7 Days in June make a cameo into this book. That was a shocker. For some reason I thought they weren't related at all. Like, I didn't realize they were interconnected in any way, shape, or form. So that was a fun surprise, and I feel like very fitting for the context of the story and where we were at that point. This book holds so many truths and themes at once. I feel like it was a study of humanity, of soulmates, of love, of sacrifice, of friendships among all ages. And then at the same time, we're exploring the soul of a location, like a physical setting location in Harlem, New York City. And we're seeing Harlem modern day, and we're seeing Harlem during like the peak Harlem Renaissance era. And we have our male love interest who's kind of been around for the whole thing. So we're seeing his perspective, how he's changed, how he's brought some of that past with him. What I think I loved most about this book is how integral the setting and the location of the book was to the overall plot and story. Harlem has like a soul, and it's like a character in this book essentially. And our main character, Ricki, the way she honors Harlem and its history as she opens up her own business and creates her own history there is such a poetic thing to watch, truly. And then she falls in love with someone who has seen Harlem through decades of time. And you can see how that informs their relationship and their personalities. And it was really sweet and hopeful and also sad. So overall, I feel like this book explored a lot of romantic themes, had strong romantic elements. I saw it in the contemporary fiction section when I went to like 2 different bookstores, but I feel like this is a predominantly romance book, so I would expect that going into it. It does have that magical realism element, and it also has like a strong tie to history and that historical fiction element, as well as blending that with the contemporary. It also holds a lot of history and culture, and it explores family dynamics. So this packs a punch. This packs a punch, and I definitely recommend it. Highly recommend it. I would give it a 4 stars, a strong 4 stars. I'm really happy to have read this. Thanks so much to Sera for recommending it to me. And what I just finished, Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine by Gail Honeyman. This is a literary fiction that's very quirky, and our main character is very quirky and socially awkward. Despite knowing going into it, Khalilah warned me. She said it's gonna pack a punch, it's gonna be heavy, it's gonna carry heavy themes. I was kind of blown away by this story and our main character's life trajectory. And I think what caught me off guard the most was the mic drop moment that happened at the very end of the book, like on the second to last page. And it happened so casually and flippantly almost that blink and you'll miss it, like this huge reveal. And I read it like 3 times because I was so taken aback by it and thought I had misunderstood, but no, I understood. That's for sure. I understood. The thing with me is a mic drop moment can really carry a whole book when I feel like the entire story accumulates and has a pivotal moment right at the end that really ties it all together and then makes perfect sense with all the context you have in the previous pages that you've read the entire book thus far. That does it for me almost every single time, and I think that's why I'm a fantasy reader. I feel like fantasy does this so often, and it's a very common trope where it's like the world building and political intrigue and everything's building up to this like main point at the end of the book. I feel like that's like fantasy textbook. I don't see it a ton in literary fiction done in this way. This did it in a very like, again, casual way. Blink and you'll miss it. And I thought that was so perfect for the context and the personality that we have about Eleanor. I found Eleanor to be such a fascinating character because yes, she's socially awkward, like we get that, but she's also like incredibly intelligent and she almost hides behind her intelligence, and her intelligence is such a piece of her personality. Her vocabulary is insane, and so it makes the book really enjoyable to read. She takes things very literally, sarcasm is kind of lost on her, and she's very like unintentionally silly and funny because she's so intelligent. There were a couple times in this book where I was giggling out loud when I maybe should have been crying, just because her delivery and her perception of reality is just such a new lens to see the world through. And I feel like most of us, if you've read this book, maybe know an Eleanor. Maybe you are Eleanor. I feel like this character is someone you know. And you just are really rooting for her to succeed the whole time. You want her to find happiness, you want her to find joy, you want her to succeed in life and feel fulfilled. And so when she has these little wins, I'm like rooting for her, like at the page cheering for her, because I just want her to win so bad. Like, she deserves it. The element that stuck out to me the most is watching her find connections in the midst of the deepest, most loneliest time of her life. The way this book describes loneliness and watching her find her purpose again and try to find her purpose again. It's like as soon as we see her find one friend, I truly think this does a perfect job at underscoring the impact that one person can have on your life. We've seen her experience so many deep emotions over a relatively short period of time. Just seeing her grapple with her existence, her mortality, her humanity, and then we get to the end, mic drop moment, kind of left for interpretation, kind of open, but I think this did a really good job at towing the line between open ending, let the reader use their imagination, leave the reader wondering how she is, how she's doing, what's the next thing she's up to, but giving you enough that you can like feel satisfied. I feel like that's the balance, right? I feel like sometimes if authors over-explain or over-deliver, I'm like bored. There's too much closure. I'm like, I never will have to think about this book again. I can count on them being good. I know these characters are okay. I know they're thriving. I know that their story is over. Shut the book. put it on the shelf. I don't think about you again. This, I will be thinking about. I can guarantee you I will be thinking about this one because I'm like, there should be 10 more pages, and that is perfect for me. I love a little bit of an open ending. I like wondering, I like thinking about it. But then on the other hand, if you leave too much open to the imagination, I'm like, you're lazy. You didn't do the work. You didn't finish his story. This is a cop-out. That's not how this felt at all. This was like the perfect balance of everything. I do want to check in on Eleanor. That's for sure. And there you have it. There's the 2 book recommendations that were recommended to me by 2 of my favorite book creators and 2 really good friends. Please go follow their channels. I also recommended them one of my favorite books, so if you want to see their perspective, the videos they made, I'll be sure to link that so it's easier for you to access, because those should be really fun ones too. You'll see some of these books popping up, but also you'll see the one I recommended.
Kenzi girl, I finished your book. I finished Blood Over Bright Haven quite literally 30 seconds ago. I'm a bit raw. The book made me physically ill in all the best ways. It scratched so many different parts of my psyche. I know so many people identify with Sayana, but I was really identifying with Tunnel. He was everything to me. Like, everything he spoke felt so reminiscent and relatable as a Black woman in America. And then obviously all the religious things that they're going through, like questioning God and religion and who's the true God and what his teachings are and how could a God that is so great and amazing revere pain on other people. I know Tomo said this one line that was like, our destiny is to love and then lose and lose and lose and lose, but we get back up every time. And that just took me out. The book was so good. Thank you so much for recommending it. As a person who usually runs from big emotions, this one slapped me in the face with them, which is why I'm physically ill. And I'm gonna need a minute. It was Blood Over Bright Haven was. A time was had.
All right, Kenzi girl, I finished Blood Over Bright Haven yesterday, and I have so many thoughts. Clearly, do you see how annotated my book is? I am not a book annotator, you know this, but this was a book that I literally could not help but annotate in. When we decided to do this book swapping thing, I genuinely was like, I know I'm gonna read a good book. These girls have amazing, impeccable taste, but I certainly did not expect a book that would change my life. This book changed my life. It's a 1 book thing too, like a heavy hitter. One thing that me and you discuss is the fact that, like, I always say that Red Rising is my favorite series. It's one of the best book series that has ever seriesed, and the fact that this one for me rivals that is literally insane. I genuinely thought that for the rest of my life that would be my peak, but this is neck and neck with Red Rising. Do you know how crazy that is? First of all, I knew it was going to be devastating. After reading that prologue, I was like, oh, I'm going to cry. I'm like, fine, whatever. And so I prepared for that, but what I didn't prepare for was being faced with my own preconceived notions head on. Her tackling so many unbelievably heavy and dense concepts, like the concept of religion and politics, the concept of politics in general, the us versus them mentality, all of these things. And what I loved the most, that genuinely surprised me the most in this book, is the fact that she kept trying to make the difference between intention and genuine impact. It doesn't matter if you intend on being a good person. What are your true actions? What is the world being left with after you leave? That was devastating. Oh my God, I feel like I'm gonna cry. Oh my God. It was genuinely like an honor to read this. You were even saying like you felt naked just off of what you've been through and what you've told us, and I just felt so immensely close to you after reading this. She just tackles so many hard questions, and the self-actualization of your impact on the world is a very hard thing to stare down. But not only is it a hard thing to recognize, which this character shows perfectly, but then the harder part is, what do you do with it after you're shown a mirror? Maybe you're not the hero in somebody's story. Now what? And then the hardest part is facing down that and then changing for the better, even though it's uncomfortable for you, because ignorance is bliss in any capacity. But to know viscerally firsthand and then having to face down whether you're going to change it or not consistently, wow, that is incredible. Because as someone who is a Black woman in America, I'm like, why can't you empathize with us. Over centuries, over years, we've been dealing with police brutality, all of these things, how women in general are treated in society, how we're always lesser than compared to a man. It's really interesting to finally be able to get into the head of someone who thinks that they're doing right, someone who thinks that they have the right ideals, then being faced with the truth, and then what struggles they have to go through to realign themselves with reality. No one wakes up and wants to be the bad guy. And there were a few characters in this book who saw what they were doing was bad, was wrong, and loved it. And that's also a fact too. It gave you a huge situation that is easily applicable to real life. And then it gave you all the ripple effects of that as well. And I don't want to go into too much detail because whoever's watching this, you need to read this, and I don't want to give you any spoilers. I get why this is a 6,000-star book for you, because it is also a 6,000-star book for me too. I just want to say, I've been in love with you since I met you, but reading this just made me love you even more and understand you even more and get your ideology and thinking and just really realize how strong you are from what you've been through and who you are today. And it's truly an honor. Okay, I'm not gonna get sappy, but it's truly an honor to be someone in your life and to be able to call you a friend, because wow, Kenzi girl, wow, no, you're so cool. You're actually so cool. I will always take your book recommendations. I cannot wait to holler about this in my video. Whether you are the minority or you are the majority, you will be able to relate to this book. And I think that everyone, no matter their background, can grow from it. And I think that's the magic of reading. Like, yes, reading is supposed to be fun and lighthearted at times, but it's also supposed to be hard and uncomfortable and force you to grow and evolve and think, and this is definitely one of those. It's a good time too, don't get me wrong, it's not all sad. It's really cool, and the magic system is so cool, and this main character, she is flawed, but I loved her so much. This book changed my life, and I would have never read it without you, and I'm so thankful. Obviously, it's a 6-star read for me, if you couldn't tell by this long soliloquy, but I love you very mucho. Thank you for giving me this book recommendation. You are amazing. We knew this, but please continue to give me book recommendations. Okay.
I'll have the link in the description right there for you. And thanks so much for following along. This is a super fun reading vlog. And if you don't already, please follow me on TikTok, Instagram at Kenzi Books. Please remember to like and subscribe. It means so much to me. And I hope to see you soon. Happy reading.